Great. Well, thank you all for coming and for your interest in Write Out. And we're really excited about this year's event and the theme, Awakening the Senses. And have been connecting with lots of different partners, and we have lots of different opportunities to explore this October. So thank you for taking your midsummer break and coming to spend time with us. I was going to go through kind of a slideshow, and because some of you here aren't familiar at all with Write Out, some of you are quite familiar with Write Out, and then we'll do a little bit of writing and sharing, and then I'll go into sort of details about this year's Write Out. But I want to give some basic background, give a chance to talk a little bit, and then talk about this year in particular. Okay. So let me get my stuff started here. We're kind of a small group, so be able to talk a little bit. Uh, Great. Okay. So everyone's good. They can see that. All right. So this slideshow is available to you. The URL is down there if you want to write that. This year's Write Out event, this is the 8th year of Write Out. We're super excited to continue this tradition, and just continues to get bigger and bigger every season. This year we have the theme Awaken the Senses, and I have to give a hat tip to our colleague Tracy from the Gateway Writing Project for putting that one forward, and it was very popular, so we went with it. This year's event will start on October 12th and run to the 26th. And a thing to keep in mind is that every year, Write Out is the same couple of weeks every October. So we begin the day before Indigenous Peoples Day, and we go through National Day on Writing, so for 2 weeks, and so we end on the 26th. National Day on Writing is on the 20th. We know a lot of our colleagues already celebrate National Day on Writing, so Write Out is an opportunity to connect those pieces if you so choose. Um, so here we go. So we wanted to just first start with a little bit of like why Write Out in the first place, right? And we argue that we all just really need this, that Write Out is important for us emotionally, mentally, academically, environmentally, right? So in our always plugged in world, many of us don't have the opportunity to get outside and connect to nature and with each other and in our surrounding communities. So Write Out is really meant to be sort of a solution to various problems that we see in the world today. And what we're working to do is bring together place-based learning with nature and the outdoors and writing. And we know that all of these have academic as well as personal and emotional and community benefits, right? So learning in place and learning about the where you are and where you live, and connecting to the community around you is good for you, good for the community, and actually can and does support your academic work. Same with being connected to nature. We know it's good for us. We know it has lots of physical health benefits. We know that it helps with things such as dexterity and emotional stability, etc., all of which supports learning. And we know that writing itself is a process that has many therapeutic benefits, um, and that Write Out can be an opportunity to bring joy to writing. We know that writing itself isn't necessarily easy, but this is a chance to bring joy and pleasure and to explore writing as a joyous act. So bringing all these things together is really what Write Out is at its core. I put together a few slides with research, and all of these are linked. So if you're trying to make the argument to somebody, like, why go outside and do some writing? These might be useful. So these talk about, the way nature supports academic learning, environmental stewardship, health and well-being, motor skills, improve social skills. Um, we have the research from the Nebraska Writing Project, really looking at long-term and many years of the impact of place-based work in their schools and communities. Um, More recently, we have a book from a collected volume. Rich and Maggie are in this collected volume. There might be others of you on the phone, but several of our colleagues are in this collected volume about place-based writing and action. And I just kind of love the quote that places are everywhere. So reminding us that everywhere we are, there are important, we can just sort of step outside and pay attention. And these are places of worthy of us taking the time to attend to them and to do some writing and thinking and sharing. And then in terms of climate change, this new book around teaching climate change to small children also talks about the anchoring themes to support climate education, um, are interactivity, relationality, and action, which are also themes that we think about in the design of Write Out every year. So in case any of those are helpful, we wanted to make sure you had some sort of research to back up your interest and any questions that might come up about Write Out. Write Out itself is built on a very strong foundation. As I said, this is the 8th year it's been going on. We invite schools, but we also invite families, friends, community partners, community organizations to participate in Write Out. We have many partners, and this year we have Eric Nelson's here from Fan School, who's a new partner for us. And there's Eric. And we have other different kinds of partners like Outdoor Afro, Latino Outdoors, moving writers. So lots of people who bring different things into the mix. We also started this project with the National Park Service. So Write Out's really designed by teachers and park rangers from all across the country. And we have rangers that still participate with us every year. So there's a strong foundation that this is built on, and then we build it with you all, continue to build it with you all year to year. I'm gonna just show you a few sort of images from last year. So I just want to give you a sense, and then I'll stop talking and take some questions, and we can do a little writing together too. So these are just highlights from last year that we saw. So on the left, you see students at a Gateway Writing Project event that
Right
were
now I'm in a little Zoom meeting that I wanted to take.
sorry, yeah. That's good. Sorry. I just, so it didn't distract everybody else. So, in a community garden, they posted signs in the community garden and invited the students to come out into the community garden and to do writing there, and have different signs and sort of stations in the garden and ideas to prompt their writing. On the right, you see kids who are dressed up for school. So it's in the middle of the school day. They're in a garden, or a playground outside their playground and garden outside their school in California. Um, we have students in Amherst, Massachusetts, who went outside, collected materials, made artwork, and did writing together. On the right, we see Odes. The Butler Catholic School in Pennsylvania has participated in Write Out every single year, I believe. And they were inspired by a park ranger who talked about odes that were written at the Longstreth National Monument. And they wrote their own odes, this one to a tree. Um, we have on the left, we have our colleague Willina Booker, is outside of Philadelphia, and she decided to make Write Out part of family a parent night at her school. So this is all the parents and the kids outside the school in the evening doing Write Out together, which I think is brilliant. And she said it was perfect. It was like a perfect thing to bring parents and kids and teachers together. On the right, we see high schoolers doing this too. It's not just for younger kids. And here we have high school horticultural writers, students in Maryland, doing place-based nature poetry alongside reading Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmer. So we see all ages. At state students at Oklahoma State University, this is a picture of they just went outside on their campus and did Write Out there. Students at the University of Rhode Island, on the other hand, went into a woods nearby the campus. They went into they have medicinal gardens there, and they worked with fifth graders from a local school. So the college students got oriented here and then went into the park and met the fifth graders, and they all did Write Out together. So it was both a leadership opportunity and a wonderful way for them to connect to their local environment and local community. Um, these two images come from a Write Out field trip that our colleague Margaret Simon led in Iberia, Louisiana. And a couple things I wanted to bring up about this. She organized it with a museum in downtown Iberia, and she was able to get to fundraise money from a local organization. So it was very, very much a sort of place-based thing that she did. She also invited people from her school community and her, sort of after school communities. And she brought her family. So her on the right is her grandson's piece. And by the end of it, he was talking about himself as a writer, and this is one of the pieces that he wrote. So, this can really be a thing that you take on personally as well as in your community in many ways. Um, Write Out also isn't always happy. There's lots going on with the environment and with and struggle and things that are hard. So people share stuff like that too. It doesn't all have to be, peaches and cream. It's, here last year there was flooding in Florida, and we had people posting about some of the challenges that they were facing environmentally. And we still have parks here. Rocky Mountain National Park every year posts prompts and offerings to Write Out, and people from around the country respond. And we make sure to send them out on our socials too, because it's great to hear from the rangers. And then this is just another piece that happened at Cabrillo National Monument. It's been happening for a few years now. Their internship program does Write Out. So any of you who are associated with the organization, you could think about this as kind of an interesting model. The interns, they're all working, it's an ecologist internship, and they do Write Out themselves, and then they also lead public programming. So over the course of 2 weeks, they had the opportunity to do their own Write Out, but then they led several public programming opportunities for others to do Write Out at Cabrillo National Monument. So those are just some of the ways that people are writing out, but you can see that there's just like lots of different ways to do this, right? And that there's no kind of one way. And, we develop it over the course of 2 weeks so that there's lots of opportunities whenever you feel ready, whenever you have time, whenever you can organize it, Write Out can happen in your community. So let me just take a moment. Well, why don't we do a little writing and then we can talk a little bit. So, at the National Writing Project, we always like to write whenever we have an opportunity. So, just take a couple of minutes. We'll take I'll start with 3 minutes. And take the line awaken the senses for a walk, which just means write awaken the senses on a piece of paper, on your phone or something, and then just start writing things that come up in your mind when you think about awakening the senses. And maybe those things are, related to the images that I just shared or some of the ideas I just shared. So let's take a few minutes and just do a little bit of writing that we can share in the chat in a moment. Okay. There's still a couple, about 2 minutes, but feel free to start adding things in the chat if when you want to share, when you feel like you're done. And if anyone's just joining us, we're just taking a few minutes to write about this phrase, awaken the senses. Okay, start to wrap up your writing and feel free to share all your writing or a highlight from your writing or something in the chat. so we can all take a look. Forest bathing, cool. Beautiful. It's National Night Out, Eric. That's interesting. Everybody's out. Does anybody want to read something out loud? What's the world telling me that I cannot hear? What is the wind whispering in my ear? You can read something out loud that someone else wrote, or you can read your own.
I'll read mine if you want me to.
Great, thank you.
Hey, this is Jim, and I just wrote, awaken the senses, close your eyes. What do you smell? Keep your eyes closed. What do you feel? Keep your eyes closed. What do you hear? Now open your eyes. What's the first thing you observe?
Lovely, thank you. Can you imagine doing that somewhere
Yeah, I
outside?
actually I've done that with I'm a teacher. I
Hmm.
did that with my middle school students last year for like a nature note type of activity, just to get them to use their other senses. So
Oh,
this fits in
wonderful.
perfect with that. I just
Great.
found out about this, but I'm looking forward to learning about it.
Awesome. Great. Where do you teach?
At St. Rose, it's a Catholic school in
Mhm.
Perrysburg, Ohio, on the
Great.
Murray River.
Excellent. Welcome. That's excellent. Anyone else? Ellen, I noticed yours. It's interesting.
When I walked to lunch earlier and just watching the poor parents, and they were trying to follow the squirrels who were going to the shadiest places.
Yeah,
Um,
the animals know.
yeah, just the over, and I didn't put this in there, but the over cheery orientation leaders that, and these poor parents that are just not only hot, but they're overwhelmed and they're trying to negotiate, like they're being a parent, but yet being all this new information. And it's always entertaining. But yeah, today particularly, they just looked really like melting down, just mentally, not just physically. So yeah.
Right, right, right. Excellent. And your senses are very attuned to it.
Oh yeah. I've also reached the age where they stop me and go, "You must know what this is, where we're going, and how do I find this?" And oh, you look like a benevolent soul on a campus. So
Right.
yeah.
Yes. I've heard this about write out. Sometimes when you're the one out writing outside, people start asking you questions. All right. One more. I'll read Danielle's. The cicadas have arrived, chirping on the line. Their mantras, steady trills drowning the bird chirps. They do get really loud, don't they, those cicadas? Take more time. Don't be afraid to be in this place. Oh, that's lovely, Diana. Does that come from experience? You want to say anything about that?
Oh, sorry about that. I couldn't get it unmuted. No, that just came to mind. I just thought about a lot of times being indoors and plugged in, like you said earlier, just how important that is to take that time and just trust that you can do it.
Just trust it. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
really important. Thank
yeah.
you.
Mhm.
So I just want to thank you all for sharing, and I wanted to share with you just some thoughts from students. And I probably did the thing wrong where I didn't turn on the audio, so I'm gonna reshare. Stop share. reshare and turn on the audio so you can all hear it. Okay. And why don't we hear what the kids think? Here are some middle schoolers from our friend Dan Weiss's school in Nebraska. So give me a thumbs up if you can hear this okay. Make sure this is all the way.
I've been outside like with my class and it's been kind of peaceful and it like gives you time to like think about like, oh, I don't know where this was. And then you see like a flower. Oh yeah, let's write about this flower. It gives you other different ideas about things.
Just being outside, just sometimes it has a nice breeze and it relaxes you, and sometimes it makes you think about what you want to write about. You can actually go out there, see, feel, touch, maybe experience some things out there that inside you can't experience because you might not have the same plants that you have out there, like grass, trees, leaves. It's just peaceful. You're just sitting there and there's pretty much silence because everyone else is writing and working on their poetry, and so it's just quiet, so you have time to write and free write or free draw.
You hear, you see, and feel different things. And for me, I get motivated to write or study more outside because you can like get ideas by seeing nature and all the different things outside. But for inside, well, you have to get it on the top of your head, and that's a little bit hard for me. Well, if you write in a place that you are very comfortable in, you can like see and you can just think by yourself without like, but in a classroom you have like people sitting next to you and sometimes they're a little loud and you get distracted and lose your train of thinking, and I do not want to lose my train of thinking. It's super fun to write because you're not all crowded in a classroom, and there's so much area outside, so there's not a person 3 feet away from you wherever you look, and it's a lot more calm outside. So outside is a lot better to write in, and I can focus more. It's very peaceful, and you can see a bunch of things outside, and it can help you think or come up with ideas. And when I'm inside, I usually get more overwhelmed than I do when I'm outside because I feel rushed. But when I'm outside, I don't feel like that. So I feel like I can get more done. I can focus more. So then I usually get more done, and my opinion, my writing is usually better.
So that might be all the research that you need, hearing from the kids how this supports their writing. I don't know. I don't think Diane is on this call. Diane, if you are on the call, please unmute so you can tell the story yourself. But I don't think she's here. So what she told me is that she started Write Out in October with her kids, this group of kids. And then after Write Out was over, they kept wanting to go outside and they kept asking her to go outside. And so eventually she said, okay, we can go outside, but first let me interview you and just so I can understand why you want to go outside. Like, what is it about the outside that supports you? And then they all went into how it supports their writing. So anyway, I thought it was beautiful that she was able to capture that conversation. So yeah, so bringing Write Out into focus, I'm just going to go through some of the details for this year, and then I will shut my mouth, I promise, so some of you guys can talk. So The first thing I tell people to do all the time for Write Out is really just to sign up for the newsletter. And if you go to the website, writeout.nwp.org, the sign up is there. You scroll down, you sign up. And the newsletter comes out, it starts to come out in July and goes through the end of October, and it comes out every 2 weeks. So you're not signing up your life away and getting tons of emails. But these emails are very informative, and they kind of just like show you all the things and share all the pieces that we're putting together for that year's Write Out. So we kind of stage them like that. We do put a newsletter out on Earth Day in April with the theme for the year. But after that, you really only get them from July to October. So this is a really important thing, is to just sign yourself up. It won't hurt, I promise. The next thing about Write Out is that it goes over the course of 2 weeks. You can participate at any time during a lunch break, a whole weekend. You can, make it a class thing once. You can make it a class thing several times during the week, whatever. And we create a structure every week that I'll just click on this and share it with you. We create a structure that is just kind of the same week to week, so you can kind of plan on it. On Sunday is when the newsletter for the week goes out. We encourage you to, spend the week however works best for you. But then know that on Tuesday nights we host a professional development event at 7 o'clock Eastern and 4 p.m. Pacific. So that's an adult-oriented professional event, usually with an author or someone involved in this kind of work that we learn from. We talk with. It's sort of an interview opportunity. Then every Thursday night, we have a gathering where we get together, we do some writing together, we share some of the things we might have already been writing during the week. And we just kind of do Write Out together as much as possible via Zoom on Thursday night. So it's kind of like a hangout time. And then on Friday, we kind of start to collect highlights from the week. And on Saturday, we send an email with all the highlights to get you started for the next week. So there's usually, we kind of keep track of things that are happening all around the country, and we want other people to see what you're doing around the country. So we encourage people to share with Write Out on social media or our teacher studio, or this year with Fan School too. So we'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. But each week is kind of organized this way. And so you can sort of just rely on that basic organization. We have author ambassadors. These are folks who are kind of thinking about areas of work related to Write Out. So we've had lots of different people over the years. This year, we're really excited. We're going to have James Fester. He has a new book out called The National Park Classroom. And James is both a teacher, and he was also a park ranger, a voluntary park ranger for a period of time. And this new book brings together kind of what he learned from park rangers about facilitating and what he learns from teachers for parks. So kind of like connecting those pieces together. This is a new book that he just published, and so we'll have the opportunity to hear more about the book and his experience and suggestions. Rob Walker is our other author ambassador. He wrote a book called The Art of Noticing and has a popular Substack of the same name. And they will be, the professional development events will be organized around things that they're interested in talking about and sharing with us. James Fester also has put together a guide to getting started to writing outside. This will be out in the newsletter. We're hoping this week. I'm going to knock on wood to make sure we get it done. But he has, as an extension of his book, he's putting together this particular guide for Write Out. So we're really thrilled about that. And these are some of the highlights. It reviews current research, talks about some of the common barriers that you run into in schools in particular, to doing this work, and then has some activities that come from his experience as an educator and a park ranger. We then have, we're developing a choice board. This was very popular last year, and I can just show you what the choice board looked like last year. All of these were different prompts and different ideas to get you started in writing. We had a downloadable, printable PDF one. Some people printed them out 8 by 11. Some of them printed out really big and put them on the wall. So this was a very popular way. The printout has QR codes, so it's printable. So this is the poetry for the planet, which was last year's theme, and we are working actively right now to update and make Awakening the Senses choice board for this year. I just put a few previews that were ready. These are all linked in the slideshow too. We have a designer who put together a sensory scavenger hunt. We have rangers who put together, this is a tour about smell, how to use smell to tour a place. And then colleagues of ours, this is from Kim Douillard's class, where they do these wonder collections, and she uses cardboard and rubber bands, and the kids collect materials. And October is such a wonderful time to collect things from the outdoors. So these are the kinds of things that will be in the choice board. And the choice board should be live in the next couple of newsletters. And then we have, with our new partner, Fan School, we are offering, and with Fan School support, we are offering the opportunity to support your students in safely publishing some of what they write for Write Out at Fan School through the National Writing Projects portal. Eric, do you want to talk about this a bit? I have, or say something. I've got the link to the URL and a QR code for it on here. But I can also point out the Write Out feed that's alive now.
Yeah, great to see you all. We were teachers, and we needed a way to sort of safely share learning with an authentic audience, and so that's Fan School. So if you sign up through the form and give us your email, you'll get an invite to create your own space with your students, and that'll all be shared automatically with the National Writing Project, and then can be sort of activated, celebrated, and elevated ACE student writing to the feed a little bit more publicly so other people can see it. But you can take photographs, you can use voice, you can video, as well as obviously digital writing to share. And I just encourage you to, keep handwriting too. That stuff outside with students is cool. But take that picture, let them own it, and then publish it and celebrate it themselves too. So that's what Fan School is all about.
Yeah, and we're excited to partner with Fan School. I wanted to show you that they've been already curating Write Out pieces from around the country. And Eric himself has been posting his own with his family, which I greatly appreciate. So this is
I can't stop doing it when I'm outside. So that's
So,
great.
and it's a good example. Like he's got images, he's got pictures, he's got videos, he's got captions, he's got the whole thing. So, so this is a nice opportunity for us to have a place for kids to publish. And what I understand about Fan School is that the kids retain ultimately access to their work, so it doesn't move around with schools, right? It's like it's connected to the individual. So it can be a place where a portfolio could be developed ultimately. But we're excited to have this opportunity. We appreciate Fan School's support in doing this and enthusiasm for Write Out. And so we'd love to have you consider this as an option. this year. As Eric was saying, there is this is the URL and this is the QR code that will get you to a sign up form to have the free access for the Write Out event. Okay. And then you should sign up. That's really the thing. If you take anything away from this session, sign up. And we'll send all the rest of this information back out to you over the newsletter. Okay. And I think that's it. Oh yeah. I just love these acorns, so I had to put them in there. This is from a past Write Out too. There's a park ranger video that's about trees talking to each other and the masking of when they drop all their acorns at the same time. So it's a really provocative video to help kids think about trees and their communication and what they do. And this was developed out of that. So let me stop sharing for a moment and just kind of open it up for questions, thoughts, ideas. I do want to say that there are several people who have been leaders in Write Out in this room. So I don't need to be the only one to talk about it. Others have been involved in Write Out for many years. So, feel free to jump in before I call you. Oh, and while somebody unmutes to talk, I'm going to put the link to the slideshow as requested.
I put it in there too.
Oh, great. Thank you. So if there aren't questions, just let's talk about ways you're thinking about writing out, because sometimes that prompts other people to think, oh, I could do that too.
I have a question.
Sure. Go ahead, Jim.
I was just wondering, so it looks like the format, what the kids write can be anything. It doesn't have to be a poem or a story. It can be whatever they choose. So is that right?
That is right. And it can be whatever the context calls for. So, last year the theme was poetry for the planet. So we were encouraging more
Okay.
poetry. But this year, Awaken the Senses is sort of genre agnostic, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, so we invite however you want to explore that.
And then one more question.
Mhm.
And I think I know the answer, but I'll ask it anyways. We are taking a field trip to a national park, but it's in September. So I mean, we could do a write out thing, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't be official though. So it's not something that they could submit to the fan or anything like that. It would just be for their own
Well,
use.
yes. So I appreciate the question, and we welcome Write Out at any time of the year. We just make sure it always happens in October. But if you did Write Out earlier this year, that would be lovely. The fan school could be used for that. And
Okay.
uh and what it does in my mind is it provides mentor text and examples that other students can look at and say, "Oh, I could do that too," right?
Yeah.
So I think it's lovely actually to do it in September and
Well, and
just
I like the
inspire
connection
others.
because it's with the national park, and this is a national park, collaboration. So I thought
Yes.
that, and there's
But
not that many other opportunities where they can get to a national park. So
yeah, that's pretty special. Could I
yeah,
ask which park it is?
it's in Put-in-Bay in Lake Erie. It's the
Okay.
Perry's Monument and
Oh,
Peace Memorial.
wonderful.
So
Wonderful.
we're taking a field trip there. It's a science trip to Ohio State University operates Stone Lab, which is like a research facility, but they offer field trips. And then it's right there at Put-in-Bay. So we're going to view the monument. And
That's
that's a national
wonderful.
park. That's a national park.
And I would say Write Out is also disciplinarily agnostic. Like what we're really interested in is kids writing and not just kids, people.
Yeah.
going outside, writing and sharing. And we have, brought sort of more of a STEM or STEAM theme at times. And, so we welcome that kind of work too. Science journaling, any of
Hmm.
that. That's why I say as appropriate, like as,
Yeah, we might do science journaling, and then I mentioned the nature note thing. So
yeah,
I
nature
think
notes,
that'll
right?
fit in perfect with the theme.
Yeah,
So
that sounds great.
yeah,
That sounds
okay,
perfect. I love it.
okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
James, just a little note for you too. I know a teacher takes the students to Gettysburg, and he has them write when they're doing it, and then they share that writing during the event with the organization, and they sponsor after they see that stuff.
Oh,
They
okay.
sponsor them to come back every time because it's
Well, that's yeah, that
October
is.
might be
I
a
didn't
good
think of
time of
that.
year.
That's a good
Yeah.
idea. You know what? And that
Also,
brings to mind, I'm not going to be with them, but the eighth graders are going to Washington, D.C., but also Gettysburg, and that'll be in October. So maybe they can
Oh yeah,
the
nice.
right thing too. I can
also,
get one of the other teachers to buy into it. So, okay.
James, also, just so you know, there's a really strong contingent that celebrates right out at Cuyahoga Valley National Park. So I've been part of that for a few years now. So that's kind of in your area. So if you want to join us, you're definitely welcome.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Where was that at?
Cuyahoga Valley National
Oh,
Park.
okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. So that's in the other side of the state, but
Yeah, but pretty close. It takes me about an hour to get over to the ferry to
yeah.
Put in Bay, so it's not too far.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Um, Olivia asked a question about she's at a writing project and wondering how to sort of engage a group of people other than just doing it herself. And so one of the Maggie, you responded. I didn't get to read it yet. I found a. Do you want to say that out loud what you found?
Sure. I just one of the things I love about Write Out is that it's become a jumping off point for me to do a lot more. So it's not just these 2 weeks anymore. I'm learning about place-based writing and expanding that, like to do things with organizations in my community and connecting with people at Cuyahoga Valley and Kent State's National Writing Project. It seems like every year we just, as like-minded people, get together and start to bounce ideas, crazy things come out of it. So even though it is kind of a national initiative, the real magic of it, I think, does happen when you really actually make an effort to like connect people in your local community around the places that are important to you locally. So we've kind of grown we've got people that aren't even, we had a speaker last year who was a geology teacher, and we've expanded way beyond writing into storytelling and talking more about like the stories the rocks told in Cuyahoga Valley. And we've brought in like a lot of different types of people. I had a minister come and do an AWE walk with my class last year. So I think that really collaboration comes from reaching out to find your people, putting out an email maybe to people that you know that love the parks, and building something locally, and then sharing it nationally, like just telling everybody else, hey, this is what's going on, and meeting up with people like at state conferences and national conferences just to kind of share the work. But it really is more of a local thing in my experience.
Yeah, that's really well said, Maggie. I appreciate that clarification. I think I totally agree. That's where the real magic happens. And the place-based focus, what we organize around Write Out because it's, happening around the country at the same time. So it's energizing, but it's really exciting for local communities to see each other doing this. But then the work happens locally. And I'm currently organizing something here in Philadelphia, and I just reached out to a nonprofit that that I knew and thought they might be interested. And then we've been doing a little bit of local fundraising just to support the basic costs. So very much in the local community. Jennifer, you have your hand raised. Sorry, just noticed. Do you have a question?
I do not, and I'm not sure how that happened.
Oh. There is a way to, yeah. Anyway, your hand's raised. Anything you want to share? Any thoughts, things you're musing about? Or anyone else?
I love, as a
Go
history
ahead.
teacher, I try to get my students out to local history stuff, whether it was a plaque or a sign. There was a lot of veteran stuff in the community I taught in. But this was provided a way to do that. And so you'd get like a little history lesson in your writing too, if you had them go out to that. Our art teacher did it as well with some local art. And so just kind of getting the kids out to sites, whether you're history teacher or an art teacher, that's a good way to sort of explore all the museums outside.
I love that too, like the idea of like going to a sign or a monument or something too that's not necessarily that you have to go to a park or, but that's like part of the fabric of the community.
Yeah, your street.
Your street. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know Maggie, was able to turn some of this work into a podcast about community leaders in the community, right? So like that really like connecting like an opportunity to go out and understand the community and leading to, later in the semester in the spring, a larger project where
We actually
they're
have
connecting.
spiraled that into working with seniors at a senior center, and we wrote books for them. And then this year we're going to be working with the VFW to record podcasts of the veterans. So I can't stress enough, this whole thing has totally transformed my classroom. Like everything now is relating to what's in our community. And with AI generated everything, especially for high school students, the one thing AI can't do is tap into their own personal experiences, their own community, the stories in their area. I literally, in all the people saying AI is ruining our classrooms, and I feel like my classroom is exploding because the kids are using all their own stories, all their own community, and it's wonderful. And they're very creative and writing authentically. And it's the answer to all the gloom and doom about AI. It really is. I think this is the secret. I think this is the future of writing in general in the classroom.
Nice. So we've got a couple minutes left, so I encourage anybody who hasn't had a chance to talk and really we just welcome sharing ideas because yeah, go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, I'll just share what I'm thinking these days. Rich Novak, I've been doing Write Out since the beginning. And around this time of the year nowadays, I get to thinking and spinning my wheels. Who might I collaborate with? So I'll just model a little bit of, what I'm doing, like what you might start doing. You do this every year. And, for example, this past year, I reconnected with a high school friend who I found out was an English teacher. And I say, hey, do you go outside? And they do. So as it turns out, I'm going to be just inviting that person to get more involved. Another way, Write Out, it makes me think differently going to the way Maggie's talking, is, speaking of AI, I'm very concerned with, are students writing real things? And are they consuming real things out there in the world? So we're going to use an outdoor lesson to kind of do a journalism outdoors, to get them to understand what journalism is. And it all starts with like going outside. So I'll share that out that week when my students do it as I develop it. And that's the kind of thing where, you get ideas from other people during the weeks of Write Out to morph into your classrooms or to your settings or whatever kind of situation you're bringing people outdoors to write in.
That's great. And I just realized, I don't know, I forgot to say that we have a Right Now Teacher Studio space. So this is a space where we invite educators in particular to think about Write Out together. So that space. I just put a link in the chat, and I'll add a slide to these. And then folks who are not necessarily thinking of themselves as educators and don't really want to be in a teacher studio, we also have a Facebook presence. And so these are places where we share, those of us doing Right Out share a lot of what we're doing, and we can kind of see each other and encourage each other on. So I'll add a slide to the slide deck with the links to those, but I just wanted to invite you to be part of either or both groups. Actually, most people are part of both groups ultimately. And then to support, as social media has gotten so weird, some teachers share work from the classroom there, but Fan School is a nice opportunity to have the students share their own work this time around. So we're really excited to see what surfaces there. So it is at the top of the hour. So I just want to thank you all again for stopping in the middle of August to come join us and think about October together. And I am going to just stick around if anybody wants to chat just kind of more individually. I'm happy to do that, and I'll turn off the recording right now.